So, welcome to Champion Football, supported by BN Sports. We are here at the I Want It Yesterday studio in Sydney, which is a tremendous setup. Me and Chaz living the good life here. We're going to talk about all things NPL football as we warm up for the season kicking off just next Saturday, about 10, 12 days away. And to help me do that is a cracking person we have today. It's a lad who's one of the best upcoming football show broadcasters in Australia. He's a handsome man, he's an athlete, he's got a foreign name, and he's going to be a key part of UNSW backline this year. It's my co-host Chaz Samashong. And to his left is Claudio Fabiano.
Yeah. Agree with everything except good looking. Good looking, you lost me. Chaz, good looking.
It's just like
Yeah, I don't know.
The attitude's too nice to me. Do you know what I
hat
mean?
on as well, cover the hairline as well. No, lovely to be on here, guys, and to have you in my studio as well is awesome. Looking forward to this. We need more of these NPL chats.
Yeah, 100%.
important.
Mate. Some setup, but
That is, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Just laughing at the tripods again.
Yeah.
Every time I look at them, I just smile.
Well, heavy
Bad
duty,
boys,
mate.
man.
We're not fucking about.
They are
Heavy
bad
duty here.
boys.
So, I'm just going to get stuck straight in, mate. Last week, we've obviously mentioned off camera, we had Richie Darko on last week, NPL 1.
Yeah, great player.
Season starts next Saturday. Richie was a few weeks ago. We spoke about pre-season.
Yeah.
We'll do the same. Obviously, you're in League One this year, getting promoted from League. Keep getting confused. NPL 2,
I know,
League
they change
1,
every
and
time.
then League 2 last year.
That's right.
So UNSW pre-season, we're quite deep into it now. When did you start back pre-season?
Well, we had like that mini preseason before Christmas.
Yeah.
Then we had a solid break
Yeah,
this
good
time,
few
you know,
weeks,
and then 3-4 weeks off. And then we were back on the 9th of January, and that was proper preseason now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, played a couple matches, good and bad. Was very good up until last week. Couple poor results now, so a bit of a wake-up call, but it's
Well,
good.
you played against, Apia last week was a tough game. That's going to be hard, isn't it?
Apia was a tough game. I've actually played Apia a fair bit when I was in NPL 1. Then when I played for St. George, we got them in the cup as well. But I've never seen Apia, I think, as physical as they were against us the other day.
Yeah, yeah.
Really, like a lot fitter than us.
Yeah.
Obviously, they train a lot. They've had a busy preseason. I know a few of those lads, but still, it was a good wake-up call to the level of fitness we need to be at, and the season's around the corner. So,
Yeah.
we've got a bit of work to do, but that's all
The
right.
stat, to be fair, the MPL, and you know, for last year going from Rivalry to Sydney United, the standard, a lot of lads really do take care of themselves. They like
Yeah.
to see themselves as athletes, because some of them, one I've got an eye on, who knows what I can do in my career,
Absolutely.
and other ones used to play at a good level, so they are training extra. So
Yeah.
it is hard, mate. It's hard to compete if you're like training. What do you train twice?
Twice, yeah.
Twice, aye.
Yeah, twice. That one night a week over the course of a year doesn't make
They're
a
at 4
difference.
now.
Are they?
Yeah, they're at 4 now.
Oh, there you go.
Because of obviously they're getting ready for second division. I think they were saying
Oh, the
a
B-League,
few of the
yeah.
lads were saying it was a big wake up call when they played Sydney FC in the cup.
Yep.
And everyone expected
full
Apia
time.
would do something, and they were just off the pace physically.
Yep.
So I think after that they went to 4 sessions. They've upped it a lot.
right, okay,
so
fair
yeah,
play, isn't it?
yeah. So that's double, you know. So
Yeah,
can
that
tell.
makes a big difference.
Yeah.
They
Well, what about
pressed
yourself?
relentlessly, man.
Yeah.
Like,
What's that?
it was hard. They pressed 90 minutes. They pressed constant, man. It
Well,
was
second
tough.
half, didn't have to press as much, did they?
That's true. We died.
What about yourself, mate? How you been feeling pre-season?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I've had a fair few things go on with me. So for me, it's like at that stage now where it's like, as you mentioned before, career-wise, focusing on a lot of other things. But football's still very important to me, but I just got to be careful the way I manage it.
What have you had happen to you?
So I had a few hip surgeries when I was younger. I got a ceramic hip, so I ended up replacing my hip at 23.
Ceramic hip?
Yeah.
Have you, eh?
Yeah, I replaced my hip at 23. Had 3 knee surgeries in between there as well. So I stopped playing football completely for 2 years, and I officially retired when I changed my hip. But then, you know, Gabe, the coach at UNSW, I'm a local boy. I went to UNSW, so he was like, just come train, just see how you feel. I never even really thought of playing for that club. I just come down and train. So I went, and the hip was feeling okay. I spoke to my surgeon. No one had actually gone back to playing with that implant, but it was like, oh, look, if you're feeling good, go for it. One thing led to another. Next thing you know, I'm still here. I'm still playing for him. So, but yeah, it was an intense few years there, a lot. So that's why obviously when I'm managing load, managing preseason, managing runs, I've got to do it a little bit differently to everyone else. But still,
How old are you?
27. I'll be 28 this year. Yeah,
Still got a lot in there.
that's the
Lot in
thing.
you.
I take it year by year now, though, because of work, because of the body. I just kind of like enjoy every season, and then if I feel good at the end of it, I'll go one more. See how we go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow, I never knew that,
you
man.
didn't know that.
That's
Ceramic
class, though. Like, good.
Next time we're in the shower, just have a look at it. I got a mad scar on my ass. Huge scar.
There's nothing in the show. Aye, it's PG just now.
Do you get any pain, like ongoing pain from the hip?
The hip itself is incredible. I've actually done stories for it. Like I've done stories for Channel 9 on it and stuff
Oh,
because
have
I
you?
think it should be a good solution for young athletes that have hip problems. A lot of them used to like wait until they're older to get a total replacement, but this is like a new kind of implant. The hip's great. Everything else is affected by it as well.
Yeah.
And years of not playing too, kind of when I got back into playing, bit of Achilles pain, you know, problems, hammies, things like that. but the hip itself's awesome. My operated hip's better than my other one.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
What made you have to get a hip replacement? Like, what was the initial kind of problem that started the
I
process?
had something called a cam impingement. So I had like an extra bone at the top of my femur.
Right.
And so it was breaking all the cartilage in my hip. So when I was 17, I had my first surgery and they just cleaned up the bone, cleaned up the cartilage. I was at Marconi at the time. And then came back from that. And then when I was at Southo Sharks, I had my second surgery.
Right.
And again, it was a clean up and they tried another procedure to try and regrow the cartilage. Never really works. And then it got to a point where I was just couldn't play, couldn't move. You know, walking was a bit of a struggle. And then so they just decided to change it. And that was better. I wish I did that earlier.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, man.
There's a lot of players in the NPL system with hip problems now.
Wow.
There's a lot of people, footballers in general, a lot of injuries, just ongoing injuries, a lot of niggles, pains. But a lot of it's mismanagement, to be honest, mate. Load management.
Yeah.
A lot of things, especially with people who are maybe in their 30s who went through the younger age, the old school training sort of thing.
Absolutely.
And they're battered.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, you know, going through those years, you think, I look back, I overtrained big time as a teenager.
Everyone did, mate.
Yeah, because you think, the more I train, the better I'll be. But you're not in an environment with like one club, a professional club overlooking every day of your training.
Yeah.
You know, you're training with the NPL, with a school team, with an academy, with this, with
Private
that.
guy, whatever, right.
Fucking, you go to
And
the
no one's
gym.
talking to each other, and before you know it, you've got 5. And nobody's going to go like, we'll just take it easy today. So everyone's battering you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is brilliant. I'm supposed to be sore.
Yeah.
When it comes to the weekend, you're knackered.
Yeah.
Why are you playing crap? Because I'm knackered. No good enough.
Nah,
That's
All
it,
right.
100%.
that's true. That's true.
It's just vicious cycle, man.
No, we started on a sour note, but
That's interesting,
but
though, mate.
you
Wow.
didn't know.
Nah, I didn't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow. Yes, I've got arthritis in my hip.
Yeah, you told me. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
one of them that it's not comfortable to say the least.
Mm.
So it's ceramic hip way forward for me, man.
Go for it, mate. Use my discount code. 10% off.
What about the actual squad itself? Any new players in UNSW since you get promoted?
Yeah, we signed well. We've got a really deep squad now.
Yeah,
a lot of
okay.
players. Like training's busy. You know, we could play 11 against 11.
How many have you
Just-
got? 22?
I think so. Just all first graders and
Yeah.
some 20s boys that are pretty good too. So it's good. I think we let go of a few players. We added MPL2 players, mainly players like Chaz that came from other clubs that were in the league last year. I think it's pretty all-round competitive. I don't think anyone's necessarily come from a super high level or we haven't broken the bank to get any sort of well-known player. I think we just got like a consistent MPL2 level player, but a deeper squad, which we need. You know, when you got a lot of players that have other things going on. Got a lot of lads in our team doing great things with their career as well. You know, you got lads that have to fly overseas for work occasionally and things like that. Obviously, lads getting older as well, getting injured. So it's important to have at least 2 players in every position. I think we have that now. We didn't have that last year. We relied on our 20s a lot.
Yeah.
So that gives me confidence. It's a decent side. Yeah.
Think better. I mean, I'm going to assume you think it's better than last year.
Yeah.
Aye.
It's a better side. It's definitely a much more competitive side. Like, especially I think in the middle of the park. You know, you look at our midfield 3 and it's very hard to pick a 3. And I think that's a good problem to have. So, no, I'm confident.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's a big difference, I think, MPL3. I think, to be honest, I think there's a big difference.
2 to 1.
League One and then one to MPL,
Yeah.
whatever they're called these days. But I do think there's a drastic difference. And again, like we touched on, the
Do you think
training.
there's a bigger difference between MPL 1 and 2 or 2 and 3?
I think, this is just my opinion anyway, I think from the top of MPL 1,
Mm.
there's a huge difference between, like you've seen last week with Apia.
Mm.
You know, like say top 6, the big ones like Marconi's,
Yeah.
Apia and that, to the MPL, most of MPL2.
Yeah.
On any given day,
Yeah.
I think an MPL2 team could beat an MPL1
Yeah,
team.
yeah,
Of
yeah.
course it could.
Yeah.
Over the course of a full season though,
Yeah.
I think you'd find those teams would still up to the top.
Mm. See, for me in preseason, I hate, like, I would have loved to, we played RPL, it was a great game, but I would have loved to play like some of the teams in the bottom half of that MPL 1 as well.
Yeah,
Like your
100%.
Southo Sharks, like
Aye.
your maybe
But, yeah,
Spirit, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like St. George. I would have loved to see some of these
Yeah.
teams in action as well with less budget, you know, and those lads that are probably
Yeah.
closer to. But anyway, it's the way it goes. But yeah.
No, it's a funny one because even last year, I've talked from Spirit, Sydney United, Wollongong Wolves,
Olympic. as well.
Sutherland, Olympic. It was like Sydney FC. There was like 6-7 points between 7th and 12th or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
There is that. Then you get the ones at the top.
Yeah.
Who naturally tend to always get there,
Mm.
the budget or whatever, of just quality players.
Mm.
But I think that pack over the course of a season would top all MPL2 teams.
Mm.
But in a one-off game, they could definitely lose
Yeah.
to an MPL2. So
Yeah,
100%. But then again, I think the same goes with MPL3 going to MPL2.
Yeah.
The bottom half of MPL2 teams would compete with the top. Like used last year, we could have probably played an MPL2 team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if Rydemere played UNSW last year, I mean,
know
in a
that.
one-off game, anyone could have probably won it. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Over the course of a season, you might have come up on top of him. It's
Yeah.
just that's just the way it goes, I think, because naturally there are a lot
You
of...
see that with the promotion playoffs.
Yeah,
like both the
100%.
lower teams won.
That's right,
You
true,
know?
true.
Yeah.
Aye, well, it'll be interesting. I do think MPL, a lot of teams into professionalism, in my opinion, a lot of MPL 1 players still fancy themselves. They used to play at a good level, or they want to play at a good level. And then MPL 2 are some of them, they've got half the league are sort of in between. And some are sort of like, you know what, I'm 33. I want to keep playing with my mates. It's twice a week training. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
And then MPL 3, a lot of them are just lads who just love football.
Yeah.
And there's still a couple of young lads starting to come through the ranks.
Yeah.
But again, it's always in. That's the beauty of football, innit? You just don't know what's going to happen.
It's different football though. I find it's different football. I find when I first came back to playing, and at that time actually UNSW were in what was state list. It was MPL 4, which they dissolved.
Yeah.
And so when I came back to training, I was playing there. It was, in a lot of ways, it was harder to play. University teams, a lot of long balls.
Unpredictable grass, all the surface isn't as good.
A lot of rural teams who, they're not the best players, but they've played together for years. Like they've literally played together for 10 years and they have a system and they play, and it wasn't easy to play against, you know? And I feel as though as you go higher up, the one thing is every team's kind of got a similar system. The players are recycled.
Yeah, 100%.
Chances are you're coming up against a 4-3-3 where they're going to play out from the back, and it's pretty consistently the same.
Yeah.
At a lower level, you don't know what the fuck you're going to get.
Because that's what I said to Gary. See, last year when I went to City United, we played Olympic, and in MPL 2, when I was at Rowdenmere, the ball was kind of, teams would keep the ball, but they'd keep it about the halfway line. And then eventually they'd get a wee bit bored, they'd play a diagonal over the top, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I went in, played against Olympic, and they kept the ball 20 yards from goal. But it was like bang, out the other side, back in. And see the level of concentration it required.
Of course.
It was so tiring.
Yeah.
And it's like, I laugh because you look at goalkeepers, I don't move. You know what I mean? I literally stand in the goal. But mentally...
Even they're shooting at you as well.
I don't move, man.
Last week.
But just the mental side of it was like, this is hard.
Yeah.
And I think for me, as you see, that is the difference that goes from long ball to an MPL 2 will keep the ball a bit better, but not in really dangerous areas.
No.
But in MPL 1, they keep the ball in dangerous areas.
Absolutely.
And I think that's kind of the way.
Well, even the game, again, I'll go back to that game, so I watched it, was you just kept the ball right in your defensive third. But as soon as you just get past the halfway line, gone.
Frantic.
Ball just disappeared.
Yeah.
That just took it right off you.
Yeah.
It's like they were pressing you and you kept it okay. You sort of build up sometimes quite well, and then as soon as you pass the halfway, like, he's that wee man. That was just so well prepared defensively.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing, the organisation. Like you said, MPL 3 or MPL State League. Sometimes it wasn't organised, unpredictable. Yeah. But sometimes when a team's very well organised defensively, it's so hard to break down,
it's
man.
hard.
Yeah.
So difficult.
Yeah.
One thing I want to touch on before we sort of go on to some things from last year. Wee Birdie's told us you're in the fine committee at UNSW.
Yeah, I am.
There's vicious rumours that your rate of inflation is shocking.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm hearing people just saying they're getting fined $3 and the next week it's $150 here.
And you know, the funniest part of this was this didn't come from me.
Yeah, no.
It didn't come from me, right?
Look, people like to bag the fines, right? But look at the parties we had last year. Like, look at the preseason night out. Look at the end of season trip. Fucking
We'll
quality.
just go for end season trip.
We went to Gold Coast. We were meant to go to Bali.
Yeah.
But two or three of the lads were a bit like skeptical on Bali. They're like, we can't go there. We can go Gold Coast. So we changed it. But it was okay. But look, when I got to UNSW and I was just kind of training on, there was a goalkeeper, Irish guy, and he was in charge of the fines. I think he ended the season with like $350 because he was cash only. He was not following up. I brought in a FPOS system. You know?
You got a machine?
I don't have the machine. But they've all got the UNSW account linked,
Yes,
so that
we
everyone
do.
needs to have it linked and just send it initially with a double or nothing, which we used to do at Sutherland. Flips.
Yeah, do that Spirit as well.
Yeah.
What's it called or something?
Yeah. And just stay on top of it. And look, I think I'm pretty fair, but there is.
I've heard otherwise.
Do you know what it is? I also look at, like, if I look at Chaz, right, and I have a feeling he's going to be at the end of the season. He's going to drink a lot of beers at the end of the season, so I might just hit him with a bit of an inflation. You know, one of the lads that I know he's not going to drink or he's not going to anything. I might let him off with a little bit, but the ones that I know will reap the rewards.
What's your inflation system? But what is it? Is this one? It's no, is it?
If I just don't like you. No, it's great because no one challenges me because, like, it's a lot to keep up with, right? Like, it's a lot. And then so sometimes we don't do a check-in for 3 weeks and then I come in and someone's like, how the fuck do I owe 85, $150? Hey, where did this come from? Well, mate, you got a yellow there. You kicked the ball over twice on Thursday 2 weeks ago. And they don't challenge it because they're like, they can't remember. It's not like anyone's. So everyone just goes with it.
Well, since he told me that, I went and contacted our captain, Grant Conwell. So I was like, send me your fine list. I want to see what it's like.
Yeah.
So I'll see what Claude's is like. And similar sort of things, like $2 fine, $3 fine, $5 fine, and at the end of the thing says if you haven't paid a fine by the end of the week, you owe $5. So it's like no matter what happens,
No matter
you're
what.
paying no matter what happens, you're paying a fine.
you pay
Same
it.
thing at the end. Discretionary senior members can just fine you whenever.
Yeah.
So
Well,
basically-
somehow you got put in the board.
I get told I was a debt collector.
Yeah. There you go.
Sound.
Exactly.
But I still don't know how it fucking works.
That doesn't matter. I just tell you who owes, and you go chat to them.
There is a lot of like the list was I think it was like 42 fines, and some of them are so minuscule. You're like, how are you going to remember that even happened?
Nah.
Yeah.
Especially for sessions if you've just lost a game, you're at training and everyone's getting battered.
Yeah.
And you're like, not me, PK,
Yeah.
$5.
That's it.
Exactly.
They white socks, oh shock.
Claude runs around with a notepad at training just making tally marks. I've been fined $100 already. And then
Yeah, but he rocks up when he likes.
Yeah. Because I coach the goalkeepers at uni, right? On a Tuesday night, I'm there from 5 o'clock. So I coach the youth girl goalkeepers and then the senior women's goalkeepers, right? So I'm at training before MD. But see, because I can't get to the picture on time, I get fined every
We have a
Tuesday.
picture bang on time, and if you're not in that photo, you get fined.
It's good that I like that.
But you
So,
don't, you don't
I'm
get it.
literally there for an hour and a half before, and I get fined every single Tuesday for being
Oh,
late.
those are rules, mate.
That's it,
What
mate.
I mean?
Yeah,
Don't like them.
that's all
Are
right.
you the captain?
Nah, vice captain.
captain.
Yeah. But I've been captaining a lot because our captain's been out.
You were the captain
all-
last week, weren't you?
Well, our captain's been out all preseason.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, so I've been captaining the whole preseason. But yeah,
Fines are what I find funny about fines is so at Spirit last year they had quite a good kitty. I
Mm.
can't remember what it was. Double figure thousands,
Mm.
and half the lads don't even go in the end of season trip.
yeah.
Half the lads put in like one of the lads put in like I think Richie he put a fortune in last year. Just doesn't go. on
Didn't
the trip.
go. Yeah,
Oh, mate, have you got a
Why
free
do you
trip?
not go?
yeah. That's usually the case.
Aye,
That's
we sent them for it,
usually
we
the
sent them for it last week.
Yeah,
But I like the fine system. It's good laughing it.
It's
It's
nice.
boys together.
it's
Good
awesome.
banter,
It's
aye.
epic. Yeah.
So,
Aye.
moving on, mate, right? We'll go back to something you've touched on already,
Yeah.
like MPL3 last year.
Uh huh.
What was the standard like overall?
I think there was a gap between. Similar to what you're saying, there was a gap between the top teams. I think we were quite good. I think we had a system to play. We had players that had experienced a higher level. I think Newcastle Jets youth obviously have a system. Pretty good players, pretty fit. They're always very fit at the start of the year because obviously the A-League teams train throughout summer.
Yeah.
So they got a good system, and Nepean did well too. They signed very well halfway through the season, so they were strong. Bankstown had a couple good players that have played around. You know, you had a few teams, probably 4 or 5, and then the rest of the league, I think, was just kind of like they'd battle you on their day 90 minutes. They could get you a lot of long balls, but ultimately, I think there was a clear top 4 or 5.
Yeah,
and so we knew that at the start of the season. So for us, it was just consistency. I think Uni had always had a problem where they play good football, but they get out-muscled.
Yeah.
And when they go away to, you go to Camden away,
Horrible.
Newcastle away,
Rough, innit?
Hawkesbury
man.
away in the middle of winter.
Camden's some wee guy 14 with a tinny just shouting at you.
That's what I mean.
True,
Yeah.
man.
One afternoon.
And you talk about sometimes the lack of crowds in the MPL. I think
Camden's a good crowd.
one of the best things, one of my favorite things about dropping down and playing there was better crowds.
Yeah,
Better
yeah.
crowds,
Yeah.
because there's not much to do.
Yeah, there's nothing else
So
in
they
the
come
places,
out.
man.
They
Yeah.
come out and hurl abuse, and it's fun. It's fun.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's great. Especially people see like my pages or my TikTok.
Do you
or
get
my,
that for?
yeah,
I love
That's
that. I
brilliant.
love that, man.
Absolutely.
That's good.
They bring up fucking videos and shit, and it's great. I like
I
that.
love
I
that
like
stuff.
that. So that was our season. We had to stay consistent, and we got a bit lucky. I'm not going to lie. We were first from about round 5 till the end,
Mhm.
but there were a couple of weeks there in the middle where we had injuries. We dropped points, and we were lucky that Jets, who are our main chasers, they dropped points whenever we did.
What's the
Yeah.
crack with Jets? I mean, was that not like 3 years they've been in MPL?
Yeah, they can't get out of it.
What's the crack? But are they,
Well,
they're not good.
So when they came in, they didn't promote that one year because they merged MPL 3 and 4.
Mhm.
So they got unlucky there because they won the comp, but there was no promotion. They just
Right.
merged. Then, last year, I don't know, man. We've never lost to them since. I don't know what it is about them. I think it's like they're a good side. They play good football, but they're a bit immature.
Yeah, I think that's always a hard thing with the younger boys going in and playing against men.
Mm.
'Cause
Are
some of
they?
them will be-
Sorry, are those Jets 20s lads or the 18s lads?
20s, but
20s,
some of the
20s.
lads like, coming off the bench, they're young. They're
Young.
probably
Ah, right,
16,
okay.
some of the guys that
Yeah.
come in.
Right, okay.
A few of them have been promoted and played well in the A-League. Like we played, was it last season? I think it was the season before last that Archie Goodwin, I think his name is Archie Goodwin. He's playing in the A-League now.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
And we played against him in Berkey at the back. We played against him and you could tell he was a good player. I think we drew 0-0 with him. Like we marked him quite well, bullying him mainly, like
Yeah, that's it.
physically. He went up the following week, scored 2 in the A-League against Sydney FC.
What did they?
And we're like,
Wow.
fucking hell. And now he's playing first grade. So they've still got a good system. Like they're creating some players.
Yeah.
But just as a team at that youth level, they've changed manager a lot. They just haven't been able to get out of MPL, which is hard for them because I hear a lot of players are leaving. Because like you don't want to play. You don't want your son. You mentioned 17 years old, you don't really want him playing NPL 3 New South Wales. You'd
Yeah.
rather take him, drive him down to Sydney and put him in an NPL 1 side, or so they're losing talent because of that.
Yeah.
But I guess they have to earn their place up the system.
100%,
I don't know. Do you
mate,
think the A-League team should automatically be in NPL 1?
Nah, I don't think so.
No.
What do you think? I
Well,
get. I'll tell you what.
Part of me
I was gonna
thinks
say, I
possibly.
understand. I would listen to the debate on it in terms of for the bigger picture.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it.
Yeah.
No reason because it happens in Scotland where Celtic, Hearts, and Rangers have got a B team, and they play in the is it Highland League?
Either Highland or Lowland.
Highland or Lowland League, whatever. Lowland League got be. Same thing. But if they win that, do they go to third division?
No,
You can't get promoted. Okay.
They can't get promoted.
Okay.
I know that. So they can't get promoted. So I thought it was a funny
because
one.
then I think it's because then there's two teams from the same club in the professional system. I
Yeah.
think that's the reason why they can't get promoted.
Yeah. Well, you were, obviously working with Spirit this year. You would have seen MacArthur Bulls because they've come down to our level.
Yeah,
so they got relegated. They came dead last. Were they just poor? Were they
young?
Okay.
They weren't a bad teammate. No, definitely not. Like they played good football, but they were young. Like they had a lad. His name's escaped me, but he played a fair bit of first team football. I say a fair bit. He's on the bench a lot, etc. When he played for them, he'd score quite a fair bit.
Okay.
When he wasn't there, they weren't as effective. They only picked up, I think, 12 points, 15 points the whole season.
Low. Yeah.
But just young, mate. To be honest, just young, naive. It's probably very similar to Jets, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But they play good football, mate. Like very well coached. They're super fit.
Yeah.
But like you said, if you've got a 19-year-old lad, young boy playing against a Marconi centre half who's 32, who's probably played the league as well.
Exactly.
Experience,
I
strength.
think it's different if you've got one or two youth players coming into an experienced team.
Yeah.
And the experience kind of carries them through what is a difficult kind of journey to men's football. But if you've got a full team of everyone below 18 or around that age, it becomes very hard to go and compete against a team of men.
Absolutely.
But it is good. I do like the fact that some of those Newcastle Jets boys, NPL 3 or whatever you want to call it, is different football. Yep, you're not going to play in the deck as much, but it is physical. And a lot of sometimes I think in modern football, that's what's lacking a lot of these boys. It's very much robotic. Don't want contact, keep the ball moving, all the rest of it. But when they get contact, they disappear from a game.
Yeah.
Some of them need contact to learn to play the game. And if they've got both, they can raise their game a wee bit. But obviously, there's a fine line between that and development.
Yeah.
I don't know what the solution is. That's the thing. That's the thing I think in Australian football, and I mention this a lot, and I do it as well. I complain about the system or the way it's working. I don't really have a solution.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really have a solution, so I'm just moaning for the sake of it. I don't know what the answer is. Even the whole the 20s, and we talk about this a lot, is 20s is such a funny age group.
Yeah.
Like you're 18, under 18s, you win the league or whatever. It's all your mates, you're loving it. Then it's 20s. Some of the lads are like, well, I'm not quite a first grader. We don't even keep the league table doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Nobody really cares about us. Half our team goes away training to train with the first team.
Yeah.
We bring 4 players down every week to join our
team, and I don't get to play. I'm top goal scorer, but the striker for the first game comes in to get minutes in.
Yeah.
I don't play. So, I don't know. I mean, Spirit this year joined the 20s and 18s for training, which has helped.
That's good.
Because it's given them numbers.
Yeah.
Saying that, you don't want to have to imagine you're working on uni all
20s
day.
always end up like 10 players, don't they? It always
It's
gets...
a coach as well. How are you coaching that?
Yeah.
7 lads there.
Do you think it was a good decision to get rid of the club championship? Like, you know how the promotion relegation used to be 18s, 20s in first grade?
Again, it's one of those ones, mate. Probably at the time, I was like, oh, this is nonsense. Because I'm used to European style. Like finals and all that to me is just so boring.
Yeah.
Great examples last year.
Yeah.
I was moaning the whole time. I've been here for 10 years. This finals is so Americanized, a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
And then get rid of it. I'm like, brilliant. And then last year,
shit, no finals.
I'm like, oh, what is it? Not, I mean, from Spirit standpoint, we wouldn't have probably got there anyway. But looking at the teams around about us at Olympic and Sydney United who were like had an average season, I'm thinking these lads are on good money. They're used to winning it. They know they can't catch Appy or Rockdale.
Yeah.
What are they? There's 9 games to go.
Shit.
But then
If you're not giving people promotion, I think you need to give them a final series.
Nah,
Otherwise, there's nothing to play for.
Because in Europe, you've got Champions League and all that.
This is why in a lot of ways, like NPL 2 is the best league in the system as for entertainment because there is a relegation and a promotion. We saw that last year in NPL 3. You know, like those teams at the bottom played for nothing. Last few rounds, you're looking at the schedule, you're like, fuck, like they get to play. We get to play a team at the bottom. They don't. You know you're going to roll them.
Yeah, of course.
They're playing for nothing. They're already, they've booked their tickets to Europe. They're off in Mykonos, because they don't care. At least in NPL 2, you got a promotion and a relegation. I think you should have a final series in NPL 1 at least.
Nah, yeah. But the only caveat to that would be, I don't like the idea of making the finals the main trophy. So if you win the league, you should be the champions.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that you could come top of the league, be 26 points in a team who's 5th, and they're the champions. That to me is
nonsense.
To me, a league over, especially now it's went to 30 games.
Yeah.
If you're top over 30 games, you deserve
You're
to
the
be
best
champion.
team. Yeah.
And the finals, I agree. Keep it in there. It gives you something to play for, an extra wee day out,
Yeah.
whatever it is. But if you win the league, you're the champions.
Yeah.
I don't
What do you think about 2 promoted, 2 relegated, the third and fourth, and the third bottom and fourth bottom play a playoff for a third place promotion.
Yeah, just get more teams involved.
Yeah.
Or even like one up. Like at the moment they're doing 2 up, 2 down, right? So let the one go up automatically. But rather than second, like which was St. George last year playing Mount Druitt, and Bonnyrigg missed out on the last day, right?
Oh, I know, man.
Rather than that, have like second, third, fourth, fifth, like in England.
And that's
let them have a
100%.
playoff series between them. You know what I mean?
So
like,
much more exciting.
Great. There's a lot to play for. I think they'll look into it.
There's not that much between those teams. That's what we'll talk about earlier on.
Yeah.
Like, there's not that much enough
100%.
to say you don't deserve to come up when it's... No, I think it's good. You need competition. But being in the business end of the season and having all this going on is brilliant. Because even I was watching the Nepean game on MPL TV. I'd never have watched the Nepean game.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's really brilliant, man. Superb.
Yeah.
Highlights from your promotion year, mate.
Highlights of the year?
Give us a couple. 1 or 2
you score any goals?
Big moments.
I didn't score a goal.
Have you ever scored a goal?
Of course I've
Scored a goal, mate. That's not what we've been doing.
Of course. Not at uni, you know. Not hit the bar against Apia.
How long have you been at uni?
Fuck's sake. 2 proper seasons, 2 full
Oh,
seasons.
only 2 years. That's
2
a
seasons.
defender.
3 years since my surgery, but 2 seasons I've played. No good. I had to nudie run at the end of season. To be fair, our whole back line, besides our captain, Luke, everyone had to nudie run at end of season. Goalkeepers too.
I'll score.
If you don't score this season, you're running nude, mate.
I'm caught now, man.
Jordi Gomez for us last year, or 2 years ago. Same idea. Hadn't scored the goal. Nudie run, that was a crack. Richie Darko's going through with the keeper. I think this is what happened. Keeper cleaned Richie out, but the ball trickles through an empty net. Yeah. And Jordi goes and puts it in, but as he kicks it, the referee blows a whistle, doesn't he count the goal?
Oh.
He's absolutely raging, man.
Did he give up anyway?
No, it was outside the box.
Oh, that's shit. That's shit.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, it didn't score, but highlights for us, we had a few we had a few good wins. You know, we had a period where we played Newcastle and Nepean were always next to each other in our schedule. So we played Newcastle then Nepean. So we didn't lose to those. We had good runs. I think we went win-win, and then in the second time we went win-draw. So they were just good weeks. We had a game against, I was out for the game. I actually had a meniscus tear during the season, and I got it cleaned up. Then I came back about 5-6 weeks later. But in that period, we played bottom place, Western Rage, right?
Oh, Granville.
Yeah, Granville. Dead last in the league, fucking getting battered every week. We had a few injuries and I think a suspension or 2, but still, you think you're going to be comfortable. We go there and play. I think we played at Rydalmere, actually. We played them at Rydalmere's ground. 90th minute, so we got into stoppage time, and we were losing 4-2. No, sorry. We were losing 4-3 in stoppage time to Granville. And mind you, Jets and Nepean are on our tail. We get a penalty in stoppage time. Kev, our golden boot of the league, misses the penalty. Keeper saves it, goes out for a corner. Off the corner, he scores a header. We kick off. They kick off. We take it off them. We win another corner. We score another header. And we won the game 5-4.
That's
okay.
That's
Now,
a team we should be beating very comfortably, but still, at that moment, I think we all thought, we're going to win this now. Like, how do you explain? 93rd minute, we were down 4-3, and we won 5-4. That was the best. That was the best day.
That's the best feeling. Yeah. You done a wee bit for Spirit on Optus when we played Wollongong Wolves. It's 4-2. We were 4-2 down in the 89th minute.
Yeah.
We won 5-4. Richie scored for the halfway line.
Oh, yes. I did see that. That was crazy. That was a great finish.
That feeling is...
The balls to have a shot from there, eh?
Oh, no, mate. Yeah. That was one of those ones where, like, you've got the ball with a minute to go, or last kick of the ball, and he's just like, I'm going for it. And if it could go over the bar, you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
As you say, that feeling that happens is the best. You can't explain it, man.
Absolutely, it's the best. No, it was a great year, and then obviously the celebrations after. We got a close knit, boys.
My next question, mate. How did you celebrate winning the league?
We won the league at Stanmore.
How many games did you go? Second last game.
We won the league. That was my first game back, so I came back for that. Came in off the bench, I think, the week before. Then I started that game, and we won it 1-0. They played a 5-4-1. They were playing for nothing, but they just wanted to not let us win the league. So, fuck, man. Like, their goalkeeper was just like taking his time from the start.
But he played well, the goalkeeper in that game.
Goalkeeper's really good.
Yeah, I was told that.
He's a foreign keeper.
Yeah, Japanese
goalkeeper.
Yeah, I was told
phenomenal
he was
feat.
Amazing. Yeah.
He's a good keeper.
Techers, Japanese have got to take you.
Yeah, so good. They just parked it, and we didn't score until I think like 86th, 87th minute. And we scored the winner. We won it
1-0.
1-0. We went out that night, but then the following week when we actually lifted the trophy at home, we beat Hurstville 1-0 again. And we went out in the town. We went out till about 6 a.m. It was fun because all the coaches came as well.
Brilliant.
And they had a huge night too. So a lot of them getting stick from their wives and stuff the next morning. So that was a big night. And then we went obviously to Gold Coast a couple of weeks later. But we had a few nights because we had the Football New South Wales dinner.
Yep.
Where the whole team was invited because we won the league.
Yep.
So that was a huge night. And our women won the league too. So they came out with us as well because they won League One.
Yeah, they won the League One.
Yeah. Then we had then we had our uni prezzo, went out after that, and then we had Gold Coast. So it just felt like a month of just celebrating that thing. So we really did. We really made the most of it.
Gold Coast. Who was the man in the match in Gold Coast?
Oh, man of the match in Gold Coast. You know what? We got one of our lads, we've kept him on, Peter Prendalos, didn't miss a session or a game all season.
Yep.
And he was class in Gold Coast too.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he's an animal. I don't know. You know, just like one of those, one of those guys that doesn't need, you think he's pissed, but he hasn't even had a drink. Like, he's one of those guys, like, doesn't need to have a drink or anything, but he's the last person to go home.
Yeah.
He's got misses now.
Yeah.
But he didn't at the time.
Like a girl from Gold Coast.
But just great on the chat. Like, yeah, he's a weapon. He was great. He was best value.
Right.
But we got a few. Fulton, you know Fulton.
Yeah. He's wild.
Zach Fulton's that's your yellow card man.
Yellow card man.
Yeah, just like, we got home 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock. He's with the speaker, waking everyone up. Let's go again. Like, just he's annoying.
You need to do that.
I'm gonna put one on his head. But
you need that, mate. It's just if you don't have that, then you're just going to be like rolling about rough all day.
Yeah. Fuck, I wanted to hit him. But no, he was good. It's a good bunch of lads. Like, some of those lads I've known forever as well. So the fact that we've all come back together at uni, there's probably about 6-7 players I've known over 10 years.
Oh, really?
And we've come back together there. Got pulled a few out of retirement. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
Good.
Hopefully we get to celebrate again this year.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, you need to come top 2, innit?
Top 2. What do you think?
Tough, man.
Big position we signed was goalkeeper. What do you think of that decision?
my honest opinion is I haven't seen Chaz enough recently. If I had to go, so Chaz and I played in America together.
Okay.
And it was honestly ridiculously good, right?
Yeah.
But let's go back. That was 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Okay.
It was like a joke. The whole almost every team in America, every uni in America wanted him. It was a joke.
Yeah.
Obviously stood out because black guy, Scottish accent,
Yeah.
swearing every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's quite small,
Yeah.
but it was like unbeatable.
Yeah.
Didn't stop playing for a while. Came back. Didn't really play for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen the best. You really turn to your full. If you return to the form I know you can, you'll have one of the. Yeah, I think you'd be the best goalkeeper in the league.
Mm.
But I don't know.
I think personally, I think now I'm just a game goalkeeper. Like training and stuff, I'll do bits and pieces. But I think that my head gets me through games now in terms of understanding and reading the game. Whereas before it was maybe more involved. Now I've kind of, maybe because I coach as well, I feel that I'm very calm and I just like to play. And I think it suits because of how we try and play.
Yeah.
So I think that's more now is the experience head coming in and just being, I don't think I'll be like mad double saves.
Absolutely.
I used to be good at a double save.
Always, man.
You used to love a double save.
Or hopefully your backline's tracking and you don't have to get up and make a second one.
What you've got going for you, I'd say, I don't know how you play, but Chaz is going to be both feet, can play at the back.
Yeah.
And he's vocal.
Yeah.
So he organises all of it this year. That's you got in your favour.
Yeah.
There's a shot stopper and all that. I don't know, man. I think NPL football in general, so many mistakes.
Yeah.
Defensively, like some of the games. We spoke about this in Rich's episode. Every game you go, we lost 4-2, but we had this chance.
Yeah.
There's always a chance. I mean, I
100%.
feel like there's loads of mistakes, so you do need a good goalkeeper. So I don't think there'll be too many better than him in NPL2 anyway.
Yeah. No, we'll see.
Take that.
See how we go. And you don't shut the fuck up, which is
I
good.
don't shut up, man.
Which is very good, especially
No,
like
that's
some of the new young players as well. The fact that you're just constantly yelling, and you're putting them in the right position, and I think we need that. So.
I think it helps. It just helps you to know that someone's there. That's it.
great.
Just constantly have that in the back of your head.
Yeah,
Experience, mate.
That's it, mate.
Experience.
That's
Old
it.
man here.
I know.
Actually, I've talked about NPL 3. You're just about to mention. I think NPL 2. Sorry. I mean, I don't know who thinks favourites to win it.
Favourites to win it. Well, you got to look at. I think you got to look at Bonnyrigg because they just missed out last year. But
Fancy Bonnyrigg up there. I think Bonnyrigg will do well again.
they're a good side. They're always a good
They'll
side.
throw money towards it as well.
Yeah.
Bonnyrigg,
I mean, again, in previous years, are known to be a little bit disjointed.
Yeah.
I think behind the scenes or whatever, as in like players leaving, and but, the pitch kills them.
And the pitch is hard.
Yeah, the pitch is tough. You want to play their first half of the season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%,
100%.
yeah.
But I think if they might throw money at it, which they've got the money to do. I think they'll do okay.
Yeah.
But Bulls should be all right.
Mount Druitt will probably be okay.
Yeah.
Mount Druitt,
You know who signed
Ben
well?
Foxton.
Bankstown City.
Oh,
I
joke.
Chris
They
Payne,
signed
didn't
very well.
Joke.
A lot of City United players.
Yeah. I think 4 went across. So they'll be good.
They'll be good.
They won that Marcel Cup.
Yeah,
I'm
they've
sure.
got a decent gaffer as well.
Well,
I think
Marcel
they'll-
Who's coaching them now? Is it
he's on my B license. Can't remember his name. What's his name?
That decent. Eh?
That's actually
Something Guardiola.
Guardiola.
No, I can't remember. I actually feel
You
so
know
bad
what?
now. He's a great guy.
I'll tell you a story about Bankstown. I went to Bankstown at one point. I didn't play for them, but it was after one of my surgeries, my second surgery, hip one. I left Sutherland. I was having a year off, but I was kind of missing it. I was feeling better, so I just wanted to train somewhere. The window was closed, and I knew the gaffer. I'm not going to name any names. So I knew the gaffer at Bankstown.
What's his name? Just tell him.
And I can't because of the next part of this story. I knew the gaffer at Bankstown, and he was like, "Yeah, mate, just come train with us," And he's an intense trainer as well. So I was like, "I know this is going to be good training, going to get me fit." So I went and I was training with him. Long way for me to drive, but I was doing it 2-3 times a week. I don't know. And I was training with them. Him and the assistant coach, and I think maybe the keeper coach, they always stuck together, and they would have Jensen Park.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think down the road or next door is an establishment called Sefton Playhouse.
Sefton
right?
Playhouse,
right.
yeah.
Never heard that.
No, good work. Good work. He knew straight away. You see that? Yeah.
Never heard
I've been
that,
told
mate.
stories, mate. I've been told stories.
And these guys used to have their coaches meetings there because they serve food. So they used to say it was great palmy at Sefton. And that's apparently they serve food at Sefton. So they'd go have a palmy at Sefton after the game, debrief the game, what changes, what they should do different, what they should. Safe to say they didn't do well that season, I don't think, but they hung around at least for Sefton and the palmy.
Do you know a funny story about that, right? See,
About Sefton?
aye, Fornito,
Yes.
Daniel Fornito.
Yeah,
right?
I know. Thank you.
So when I was at the Berries coaching,
Mhm.
the boys after training one night we were going to Sefton, right? So love Fornito, but he can be quite silly sometimes, right?
Silly.
That's the best way to put it,
I know,
right?
he's obviously-
So he's on the way. He's told his missus, "I'm going here. Can you come and pick me up?"
Mm.
Well, he got his missus to pick him up from the Sefton
Aye,
Playhouse.
but he didn't know, right? So you turn around the corner of the street, and it's like big, illuminated, like women pictures and that. And his missus is over in the corner.
Is that coach's meeting? Coach's meeting, exactly. Just debriefing the game head.
Oh, so funny, man.
Yeah.
So funny.
Well, he's a Dudley Chill,
Yeah.
and they should have a decent
We've
side
got him
too.
tonight,
Yeah,
actually.
they'll be decent.
Really?
Yeah, we've got him tonight in the P on Saturday.
Yeah, because
Extra hard on some of those.
Fornito.
Fornito's there.
Because he's there, a good mate of mine that
Cousy,
was obviously in the A
Josh.
League.
Josh Silva's there.
Josh the Silver's there.
Um,
was there, yeah.
Meko, do you know?
Meko's there, yeah.
But
he's
Meko's at Dilly, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, class, not seen a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's him
They'll be
tonight.
decent.
Did you say who your mates there? Who's that?
Kuzi and Josh, I
Oh,
grew
Kuzi,
up with.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Joshie De Silva I played with for years.
Yeah, he's a good lad, Josh, like-
and yeah, he's got every attribute that you need, really. So it'd be good to see him back out there. He had a few years away from the NPL.
Yeah,
Playing
nice.
random fucking
Yo-yo.
levels of football, man. Do you see what he was playing? Like he
Ah.
was just going and playing for random park teams and just
Brilliant,
taking
He went
man.
to
piss.
Balmain, did he not?
Hey?
He went to Balmain, did he not?
Yeah, he went to another. Oh, what was it? Oh, fuck, I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of the team, but it was like a top tier club association team.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
just taking the piss down there. But good to see him
Banksia.
back. Banksia.
Banksia, that was no Balmain.
There you
Banksia,
go.
That's
Just
the
when you said B and you were thinking
I
top
think they're
tier.
decent though. Like what I've heard,
Yes.
everyone who says Banksia Tigers says they've got like, some right good players.
Yeah. I used to play with he was my captain at St George, Huss.
Oh yeah.
He's their coach.
Huss is
Huss
he was on
Akil.
it. He knows the name of that Bankstown coach. He was on a B license as well. Huss is a great guy.
All right, yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
But he must be greater than the other guy that you can't
Aye.
remember his name.
I know, man. I feel so bad. He was a legend as well. He was a lovely guy. You'll know his name when I said it. But
Yeah.
Huss is a great guy.
Yeah.
He was he's left St George now, isn't he? Because he was
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
assistant
he is.
coach there.
Oh, well, he probably
He
was.
was
yeah.
with the MPL 1 St George team 2 years ago.
Okay, all right.
Then he chucked it and went to Banksia.
Yeah. No, he's good, man.
Nah,
He's good.
he's a great wee guy.
Yeah.
And then relegation, MPL 2. Who do you
Who's
think?
going to go down?
Aye.
I don't like saying that. I don't like saying that because they're going to have an extra.
Okay, well, let's be who's going to be?
Well, look,
bottom?
Dumbo was close, right? Last year.
Yeah.
I know Dumbo because they're obviously another local Eastern Suburbs team. But I just know that they were close, that they kind of got out of it in the last second.
Yeah.
And I think it's been a couple of years that they've just kind of gotten out of it. So you'd think, man, I know they usually have a smaller budget than everyone else.
Yep.
I imagine they'd probably be around there. Look, one thing I'll tell you, I'll leave us out of it. Nepean, who came up with us, they came up second. I don't think they'll be anywhere near relegation. I think
Yeah,
they'll be.
I think they'll be good as
I
well.
think
I
they'll
think they'll sign okay as well.
Yeah. They got a gaffer who's signing good players apparently from good clubs,
Who's that
like
gaffer?
Marconi and that. I don't know his name, but I think he's former Marconi, or he's grabbing a lot of young
They
players.
spent a bit of money as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they picked up a player. I think it's Sepping. I think is his name. They picked up a player in the second half of the season. Centre mid, scored like 12 goals in the second
Oh,
half of
really?
the season. Yeah, took the piss. Very good player. Signed on. I think they'll be in the top few. We got them round 1
Yeah,
away
no.
in Penrith.
I
That'd
see
be a
that.
nice game. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm interested to see these teams again. I haven't seen them in a couple of years, so I don't know who'll be down there.
That's true. I'm forgetting you're just coming up.
Rydalmere, how's
It's a
Rydalmere
hard
looking?
one.
They lost
Maybe
obviously
a
you, lost
lot-
Timmy to us as well.
They lost
Mate,
Chids. Aye, to us.
They lost, I reckon, maybe 10 players.
Fuck.
So look, it's a hard rebuilding job for
Mm,
them. They're going to have
Who's
to.
the gaffer there?
Anthony Harb.
Oh, he's still there.
Yeah, so they're going to have to obviously have a lot of youth
Mm,
within what they're doing in terms of points.
mm.
But like, hopefully they'll be all right.
Yeah.
I don't know much about their pre-season.
Mm.
I know that their captain done his ACL. Thomas,
Shit.
do you know Thomas Gattani?
I know the name, but I don't know who that is now.
Tommy done his ACL. He's in a knee brace, which will be a huge loss for them.
Fuck.
Because he's young. Tommy's I think 23, but he's still one of the more experienced heads of what was, as far as I'm aware, quite a young changing room.
Okay.
So that'll be a big loss, but yeah, hopefully they'll be all right.
I think MacArthur Bulls, we played them in a friendly 2 weeks ago. I think they'll do well.
Yeah.
To be honest, like the day again, they're well organised. Again, the only thing is we played them at Christie Park, synthetic, move the ball really, really well. We were probably a little bit off it. We had a lot of 20s in that playing, but I think they'll do well in NPL. Again, the physical side of things, I don't know.
Where do they play?
I think last year they played at Sydney United.
Oh, okay.
Over there, I don't know where they're playing this year, to be honest,
Okay.
mate. Try to think who else stands out in that league in terms of, I mean, Bankstown City, I think that's the thing, going up is good, the promotion, because there is a lot of teams, like Mount Druitt will be decent.
Mount Druitt spent a fortune.
They will be decent. Bonnyrigg, you've got to fancy them because of their history and all the rest of it. Bankstown City, even just signing Chris Payne, obviously shows a sign of intent what they're trying to do. Who else is there but who's standing out? They're definitely missing some big
Berries were alright. They were in a bit of a run last year.
Wally coaching?
Yeah. They were on a run last year. I think that they were maybe first or second for a good wee while.
And we took their
and
captain.
They died off towards the
What about
second
Esty Raiders?
Esty
They
Raiders
finished
were,
fourth last year, didn't they?
yeah, they were fourth.
Is Nicky Carl still there?
Don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I think he does the youth.
He does the youth now.
Yeah, I think so.
I know a couple of their players. They'll be decent.
Yeah, they will be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think NPL is like such a funny thing. NPL 1 maybe, as you said, it's professionalizing a little bit with the second division and these guys, chatting to the boys at Apia, they've all got their eye on 2025. Yeah. Especially the young lads, potentially going pro, flying around Australia, being on TV. It's nice, right? It's lucrative, so they're training hard. But in NPL 2 and even 3, we spoke about it last year, how important the first 5 games are.
100%.
If you can win 4, draw 1, right, you're on a roll. Everyone changes their mentality. You commit. You see it with teams. Unfortunately, it is semi-pro football at the end of the day. It's got its amateur things about it. You lose a couple games early season, people booking fucking trips overseas.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously, you get to June, July, and half the league's in Mykonos. And that happens every year. So you need to start well to keep everyone on board. Not to mention, if you're on the bench but your team's coming first, you hang around. You're part of a project. You're on the bench, your team's coming 7th, 8th, you fuck off in the window, you leave. You know, so it's so important. The first few games are huge.
I think the first game, I actually just think that first game will tell you a lot in terms of where you're going to go.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy. When you don't win your first game, it becomes I
don't know, how long as I said it, because the year we get promoted by Spirit, I think the first 6 games, we only won 1 game or something.
Really?
See, I think that's
rare.
And then we went on like a mad run, like a 23-game run.
Yeah.
Went on a mad run.
But I think that then your system becomes so important because, as we've said already before we came on, Perko's great at what he does. He knows how he wants to play, and he won't accept anything that's not the way he wants to play. I don't think there's a lot of clubs that are like that in terms of such a belief in a philosophy. So for those clubs, if you don't win 1, 2, 3 and you don't have this pattern of football that you're trying to play that's really been ingrained into you, then it becomes really hard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'll find clubs that will have like a Chris Payne. They might not be great at the back or building up, but they'll score goals.
Yeah.
But a club like that, if you don't win the first, second, third game, you're struggling.
Yeah.
Like straight
They fall
away,
off
psychologically,
completely.
it's really, really hard.
Yeah. And that's why I think this level of football, and we had a bit of a team meeting. It's a good thing that they do at the uni, actually. They do a team meeting before the season. We did it last year as well. Kind of goal setting, what you're expecting, where you want to be. And I think the biggest thing is like NPL, having played now the 3 levels, NPL 1, like you said, has some players that have ambition to go pro or have just dropped out of the A-League, or they're good young players that might go overseas, right? You've got that certain teams that are better than everyone else. And NPL 3 has some teams and players that are probably only playing because they're from that rural place. They wouldn't be playing anywhere else. They're just playing because they're at Camden or they're at Hawkesbury or whatever. But NPL 2, I feel like every player's around the same level. It's very much consistent. Like there aren't any exceptional players because you wouldn't be there. And there aren't any shit players because you wouldn't be there either. And so it's very much comes down to an attitude thing. And that's why I think for like, if you work harder than everyone else and you have a solid defensive structure, you work hard, you fight for everything as a team, you're in the top 4 teams, I think.
I think availability, keeping people players, massive, mate.
Yeah.
And again, that's people going on holiday.
Yeah.
Lads getting to training to make sure they stay fit.
Yeah.
Looking after themselves. Like the small things, I think NPL 2, you're probably going to have 12 right good players.
Yeah.
Then the standard drops a wee bit, but if you can keep those 12 core players available, you're going to do quite well.
I
think it'll be tight in terms of looking at, as you said, teams going up and teams going down. I think that it'll be it'll be really quite tight.
Yeah.
Is there any? Obviously, Chris Payne's a big signing.
Mm.
We call it in that league. Anyone else you know of who's been big name signings or who's came down from MPL 1 or visa players? Anyone you know of?
We almost had a great, solid visa player, didn't we?
Who was
I
that?
don't even want to say it in case someone else picks
In
him up.
case someone else picks him up.
Yeah, I'm not going to say his name in case someone else takes it.
Oh, come on.
No. We had, I tell you what, like,
Transfer window closes in about 9 hours. mate.
oh,
So
really?
yeah.
No, we had a great lad from Japan just fall on our doorstep.
Yep.
Great player. And it was what, when we finished the season last year, I said to the gaffer, I said, we need Japanese right winger. That's it. That's all we need.
So where is he?
The team's great. All of a sudden, we find a Japanese right winger. Falls in our doorstep. Okay, not perfect, but young, 22.
Mate, he was
Fucking lightning.
So where is he?
Quickest player in the league. I think he would have been the quickest player in the league. And we
He's only the
he
right
was
winger.
the winger on
Got
that.
like 4 wingers. Where is he just
we
now?
didn't end up taking
We
him
couldn't sign him.
because we had 2 visas.
2 visas.
And Uni's a very loyal club. That's the thing. Like, they're a very family club. Having played around, you don't get a lot of clubs like that. They're really
100%.
human, really like loyal. And they have the 2 visas. They've committed to these 2, and they weren't going to get rid of one to bring in a player who arguably might play more and might be a better player for the team. They're very loyal to people, not
Yep.
so much
So
performance.
what you're saying is this Japanese lad's better than your 2 visa players just now?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But not many clubs would have let him go.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
So where is he? But
Back
no
to
idea.
Japan. I don't know.
Nah,
He
no
would-
way, man.
He would have landed somewhere.
Somewhere.
We'll see him.
It was very good, mate.
And-
Like
and
I
we-
think
yeah.
was it his first training second or second
First session, he
training
was on
session,
fire.
right? He was getting kicked, like smashed, and he just kept getting up, and then he would like the same person would come back, he'd flick it by him, and he was gone. Like he was so fast. He
He's
was
very
good,
quick.
man.
I think
Very
he's the
good.
quickest player. He would have been the quickest player in the league had he signed for us. I think so. He's just
I would love to see that because obviously I do a lot of GPS stuff. I sprint. I loved last year we had 2 lads, Ollie Wigan and Matt Cahill. The whole year it was like top speed, 9.5 meters per second, and the next week Ollie would get 9.52 meters per second, and then it was 9.60 up 9.91 meters per second, 9.992, and they started getting faster. And then you play against another team. I'm thinking he's faster than him.
Yeah.
And they used to do that thing, didn't they? We 3 or 4 years ago, or maybe even longer, they'd do a 100-meter sprint.
Yeah.
You
That's
see
right.
that? Aye.
Yeah, with all the
And
players in the
Peter
NPL.
Kekeris won it.
Yes.
So he came to us,
Yeah.
and he was obviously obsessed with the GPS. I don't know how fast it was. I'd love to see who is.
Don't ever bring him to us. Don't ever bring him to us. Fuck that GPS shit right now. Those years are past us, bro. Shit. My worst nightmare.
What about the testing, running 40 metres? I've finished the 40 metres. I was like, that's me done. Hard, man. Testing, to be fair, actually
Running
feels
40
good.
meters was hard.
But mate, just like actually having to really try and sprint as
They figure
fast
a
as you
keeper.
can.
Yeah.
Like I didn't. It wasn't for me.
You're usually just taking 2 steps backwards into the back of the net. Mate, okay, just looking a wee bit off the pitch, I suppose. Obviously, you're on up to sport, and you're on BN Sport as well.
I have been, yeah. I have been a
cool.
few years, yeah.
So probably just, you don't have to go in as much detail as you want, I suppose, mate. But how'd that all come about? How'd you get into it? Obviously, you've got this quality studio. Did it piggyback off of that? And
Yeah, I think for me, it's like football's always been a big part of my life growing up. Italian, Argentinian heritage. I guess it's just always been inbuilt. My dad's a huge fan. My grandfather was a huge fan. We've got family all around the world, visited games. They took me to games when I was young. So just always grew up with football, obsessed with it. Was a good player growing up too. So I got the opportunity to go play around a little bit. Got the opportunity to play in Germany when I was a teenager. Got the opportunity to play in the UK. I loved it. I went through a really frustrated period when I couldn't play, probably between like 18 and 23. It was a lot of periods out. And so I kind of hated it for a bit, and I didn't really know. I kind of like just associated, you only thought about football as playing it, right? So I was like, well, I can't play it anymore because every time I play it, it hurts. I can't perform like before. So I just kind of didn't want anything to do with it. But then I started uni, I started media, ended up dropping it. But I saw this gateway where a lot of the players I played with were playing A-League. A lot of the coaches that I grew up with were coaching in the A-League. So I could easily pick up the phone and do an interview. I could pick up the phone and go to a training ground. Easy. I had the connections. So I was like, you know what? Like a few people had said to me, you'd be good on camera. You could do that. Okay. I've got a good memory. I can memorize things quite easily. Okay, I'll go for it. So I literally just started with an interview with Alex Brosk. I did it for a charity. I knew Alex. He was a former Marconi player at Sydney FC. I was also training with Sydney FC while I was at Marconi. So we had similar paths. Called him up, did an interview with him. Everyone liked it. And then I just kind of started doing more of that. And then, to build this studio was with my brother and my other business partner, Joey. We kind of all came together and
is
thought,
that your brother we met?
Yeah, you would have met him just before.
Yeah,
But I thought that
I didn't want to say
as
to him, I was
well.
like,
Yeah, he worked in the UK for years and worked with some pretty elite clubs and associations. So together it was like, look, rather than waiting for the opportunity from a broadcaster, let's just make our own stuff. Eventually they'll come, you know? So we started making our own podcasts, our own shows, and eventually the broadcaster, hey, can you do that for us? And it just spiraled from there. And you know, social media as well. It's a different age now. You can create your own videos on TikTok, on Instagram, on all the rest. And I started to get the love back for it as well. And other things too. But especially for football, I started to get the love back because it was like, okay, you know what? Like maybe that didn't quite go. That wasn't meant to be, but there's other ways I can influence this game. And yeah, so it kind of got me back into it. And then I started I enjoyed playing again. So I'm thankful for that kind of path that I'm on. And yeah, who knows where it's going to go.
not a bad life, is it?
Brilliant,
Playing
mate.
football,
Nice.
talking football, loving football.
Yeah.
Chaz mentioned to me today that you didn't get to go to the World Cup in Qatar.
No.
Nah.
What
What happened with that?
Well, we got a show to do for SBS. So I grew up with SBS.
Yeah.
Like here. I mean, how long have you guys been here now?
10 years.
10 years, mate.
So you probably missed that SBS like peak, right? Like when we were growing up, it was the only place that showed football. Especially for like the Italians, the South American community, the Greeks, the Serbians, Croatians, like all our football was on SBS because they would show all the European stuff. And MPL, you know, they used to show the
Right.
NSL games. you
Oh,
know?
yeah, okay.
So when they came knocking, they had the World Cup and I'd never worked with them, but they were like, listen, we'd love you guys to do a show, full production, and we want you to host it. And then you can send someone to Qatar to do all your reporting, but we want you to host it from here. It's like, okay, that's an incredible opportunity. I'll host it. Like if it wasn't for the hosting, I would have gone
You
to
would've
Qatar.
gone,
But
yeah.
for that gig, I stayed here.
Yeah, okay.
Luckily, I went to the Russian one
Right.
Okay.
as a
okay.
fan. I just went with the boys, just like,
Okay.
Oh, brilliant,
Massive.
yeah.
Love it better.
yeah, it was awesome. It was
Yeah.
huge. It was huge. So, you know, I was happy to miss that one.
Yeah, because that's obviously I saw when it was on. Adamo was there.
Yeah, I sent Adama, yeah.
And then that's because I actually spoke to him, and then that's when it came about that you weren't going. I was thinking, why is he not?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
proper stitch up.
Yeah. Nah, it was just a huge opportunity. I had to take it.
Yeah, fair.
And I was happy. I kind of lived through him. He's like one of my best mates as well.
Yeah,
So he was
yeah, of course.
FaceTiming me every day. Look at this. Look at this at all the stadiums. It was like, you know, it was great. It was awesome. But yeah, great opportunity.
It's probably one of the best World Cups ever.
Football wise, absolutely.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah.
Unbelievable,
Very
man.
different to every other World Cup, as in like the fans. Like, you
Aye.
know, have you guys been to a World Cup?
No, I mean, we're Scottish.
Scottish,
mate.
mate.
We got the Euros now. Looking
Euros,
decent.
aye.
Looking
We're going to
decent.
the 2026 World Cup. We're going to that no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
got, even if Scotland don't make, they might make it. It's probably the best squad we've had in about 20 odd years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we've got a wee lads
Yeah.
group thing, we've got money together to go to Mexico.
It's just the best thing ever. Like it's
Yeah.
so addictive. When you go to one, you want to go to every single one. You know, it's just like the way the fans are. And group stage is the best part. As
Yeah.
much as the football gets better in the knockout, group stage is when you want to be there.
Everyone's there, isn't it?
Everyone's
100%,
there.
yeah,
you
yeah.
meet people. The bars are full. The pubs are full. And even the atmosphere in the stadium when you're used to club football where it's quite hostile.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to fucking break each other.
Yeah.
It's not like
okay.
that in international football,
Yeah, it's
especially in
fun.
the group stage. You know,
Yeah, okay.
like I remember Belgium, Tunisia in Russia. Belgium smacking Tunisia like 5-1. But like the Tunisian fans,
Oh,
you know,
that was
taking jerseys off and swapping it with the Belgians and like sending each
Oh,
other
yeah.
gifts over the top and like just like really nice atmosphere. Didn't see any problems.
Yeah.
So it's mad. It's just a whole different vibe, international football. So it's great. Get down to
That's a
get down
bucket
to-
list, isn't it? World
That's
Cup.
it. World Cup,
Yeah.
100%.
Aye.
Mexico.
Yeah, 100%.
The couple of wee stories, mate. I actually forgot about these. I mean, these might be good. Who knows? We've just been told off some of your mates.
That's great.
Is there a story
Mm.
between Hakoah and Sutherland Sharks when you played against your mate Kevin Lopez?
Did Kevin Lopez tell you that?
Well, I can't reveal my sources.
He doesn't shut
Unfortunately.
the fuck up. No, yeah. So he played for Hakoah in that Hakoah team that came all the way up, which is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
we're trying to do. You know, they
Yeah.
came all the way through the divisions. I was at Sutherland, and I was 19. I started starting for Sutherland there at that point, and we played Hakoah at home, and they had, I think their striker was Jabba. You know Jabba?
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Jabba.
Neil Jablonski. So Jabba was up front.
He's a madman.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's
He's
a
very
Great guy.
good,
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. And he's fantastic in the air.
Oh, yeah.
And I am all right in the air, but I wouldn't say it's my strongest part as a
You
defender.
know, so sorry to cut in.
Yeah.
Jabba used to come in when he was coach at Rivalry,
Yeah.
assistant coach with Gov, right?
Yeah.
So he'd come into training sessions when things weren't going the way he wants, right? And Jabba is like, he loves football and he's so passionate and it's like almost comes across as like anger at times,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like he's so aggressive and everything. So we come into training and as I said, he'd come in, feed the bear!
Yeah.
Just feed the bear! I just say all the time, mate, I swear to God. But then he was
Does that mean just like
just give him
give
the
him
ball.
the
He'd
ball.
come in and
Oh,
then
give
once
him the
at his
ball.
feet,
I thought he
aye.
was when he was coaching.
No, when he was playing at
Oh, when he
training,
was playing.
I come in, feed the bear, and
I
then
thought when he was coaching, just walked in, feed the bear.
He was great though.
Aye,
And he was very
Jabba-
good in the air, right? So,
Yeah, he
and
is.
so all the chat before the game was like, you need to match him aerially. And I did. I had probably one of my best games aerially that I've ever had. I won every single header that game. And they took him off and they put on Kev Lopez, who I've grown up with, right? Yeah. And I was like, fuck it, here we go. Kevy's going to be in my back pocket. To be fair, we're winning the game. He scores 2 goals. We lose 2-1, right? He scores 1 at the back post on our left back. Little guy, good header. You know, he's done well to peel out on our smallest player and score a header. And then the second one, in typical Sutherland Sharks fashion, playing out from the back, we played the holding mid off. The goalkeeper played the holding mid off a goal kick. Yeah. And he's fucked it up on the edge of the box. And Kev's taken it off him and scored. Fair play. Nowhere near me on either goal, but he does not shut the fuck up about that to me to this day. And the problem is, since then, I've played with him. He came to Southern the next year. Right, so I've played with him since then. I've never had the opportunity to play him again. Yeah, he'll never play against me again. He never will. He'll make sure he's never playing against me again, just so he can hold on to that game.
He says to us that you were the wee guy at the back post.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, good on him, mate. I'll let him have it.
And also, we didn't really get much of this, just told to ask you about a Newcastle Jets player on Instagram messaging you.
Yeah. Again, you know, when you put stuff on social media like I do, you leave yourself open to this. We played Jets, it was 2 years ago, that season that I told you didn't count for anything because there was no promotion. Jets went all the way to the final, won it. We beat them in the season and carried on when we beat them. They then went all the way to the final and won it. And I had a message from one of the players, probably 18-year-old, I don't know, he was young. Messaged me like, fuck yeah, like sending me photos in the change room with the cup. You know, and like, you know, fucking suck on that, like this and that, whatever.
Suck on the cup.
Yeah. I was like, okay. It went into my message requests, right? So I didn't even open it, right? So then when we then played them again, and I don't think I messaged him. I think what happened was I waited till the season finished and we'd been promoted and Nepean had been promoted and Jets hadn't been promoted. And I found him. I'm like, I remember there was a Jets guy that messaged me. I went roughly 52 weeks ago. I found him and then I fucking sent him a photo back and I gave it to him. I'm not gonna say, I don't even remember what I said, but it wasn't very nice. And then he was very nice in his response. So I felt bad because I fucking I destroyed him. And then he wrote back going like, congratulations, you guys were the best team all year. And I was like, oh shit.
love you showing up to me.
I was like, oh fuck, I was up for a fight. Yeah. So yeah, that was him. But a bit of fun.
Oh, okay, class. I suppose really the only question we've not really touched on from other than the last wee bit at the end is B-League. What's your thoughts on the B-League? Obviously, you're sort of across the A-League and this, so it'd be interesting to know.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a great initiative. I also think it's a lot harder than people think to make it happen. I'm interested how they're going to do it. These clubs are, you know, the A-League, whether you love it, whether you agree with the way it's run or not, is a lot more professional than the way that these NPL clubs are run at the moment. But I think something's got to give. I hope that what they do with this second division is I hope they let these clubs play in the smaller venues, let it be a bit more of a humble league. Don't force it to be too commercialized. Let it kind of build itself and let the clubs have their own culture and their own kind of identity. And if they do that, it'll be a success. But, you know, I've been hearing internal things from the process of kind of applying. It's a lot of money they're asking for.
Yeah.
It's difficult to do. Look, I hope it gets a good TV deal. I obviously work in media. I really hope it gets a good TV deal. I hope it gets a free-to-air deal. Because it needs that, because no one's going to pay to watch it at the start. So hopefully it gets a good free-to-air deal. And yeah, also for the players, I hope they don't try and make them go pro. I hope they let them be semi-pro. I think maybe 4 to 5 sessions a week. Keep it nighttime. Because if you're asking players to leave their day job, I think you're going to lose the best players.
That's not enough money. Yeah, 100%.
You're going to lose the best players. You can't offer a player 60, 70 grand.
Yeah.
You know, who's now already close to 30 and has a day job. They're not going to do it.
No.
Yeah.
You know, so you need to allow them to keep their day job, keep the games on like late Saturdays or early Sundays so they can work during the week, keep the trainings at night, and basically just give all the facilities available to your current good NPL players and let it do its thing. You know, let the clubs have their own identity, small stadiums, let the Greek, Italian, Croatian cultures be intertwined in a healthy way, not in a bad way. And I think it could work. I think, you know, at the moment, it's a great time. The A-League feels a bit dull at the moment. But the other problem is promotion relegation. I don't think that's coming for a long, long time.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me. But on the flip side, what I would rather watch a Marconi versus, say Sydney United.
Yeah.
Smaller stadium, full stadium, and probably know a few of the players.
Yeah.
Whereas the A-League, I'm watching the A-League in a 90,000 seater stadium with 12,000 fans there.
Yeah.
And
you don't know the
and
stories of the players, do you?
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, but even yourself watching football during COVID, when even Bayern Munich, Barcelona in the Champions League, and there's no fans, it just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
So when you've got the A-League doing it and there's hardly anyone in the stands, it just doesn't feel like a proper game of football.
Yeah, you can do it. When I was young, I was at Sydney Olympic in the youth, and the first grade team made the NPL final, and they played Sydney United at Belmore Sports Ground, and it was fucking packed. It was, I think, 12, 13,000. You don't even need that many, but it was packed, and it was an awesome atmosphere, man. It was brilliant. One of the best live games I've been to, and like that's really all it is. Quality of football is not that important. It's really not. You know, like it's not the be all and end all. The A-League quality's gone up big time. I'm not going to listen to anyone that says that the A-League was better 10, 15 years ago, quality-wise. It wasn't. But what was better was the Wanderers were packing Parramatta Stadium and the atmosphere was there, the travelling away fans. That was better.
As a fan, that's the best part about it.
And that's the best part. That's the best part. That's why you go to certain parts of the world with a shit league. You know, but the fans are awesome. Look at the Indonesian league. I know a few lads that play in Indonesia. The football's fucking average. A-League team would go through most teams there. But the crowds are a bit too crazy sometimes. But they pack the stadium. That's the atmosphere. That's what football is. You know, you got to promote the live experience. So I hope that in these small grounds, Marconi Stadium, you get 5,000 people in there.
Meals, go to the game, your family, especially Italian family or Greek family.
Make it accessible, you know, make it accessible. And hopefully the clubs have their own, hopefully it's not too policed from the top. Hopefully the clubs can make a day out at Marconi their own thing, have their own specials, food, drink, atmosphere, DJs. Make it a party. You know?
I think what you say is important in terms of the cultural aspect of it. Like when you look at a lot of the NPL clubs that are now going to be in the B League, they do have a tie to a certain culture. So it's so important that they can almost bring that community, let's say, back together.
In a non-exclusive way.
100%.
You know, like when I was at Olympic, I'm not Greek. I don't have anyone Greek in my family. It wasn't exclusive though. You know, it didn't feel like I was at a place that I didn't belong.
100%.
But it was nice because they used to do the Greek dancing before the game. They used to do like the souvlaki, all the food, you know, it was nice for me. Even though I'm not Greek, I was accepted. I was welcomed. I was, you know, if you're a good enough player, you played. But it was cool to experience that culture, you know. As long as it's like that, it's not in an exclusive way. I think it's great for the game. I think it's awesome.
It'll be interesting, that's for sure. The promotion relegation doesn't sit well with me either. Like,
it won't happen.
Especially if it's no, they say, it's in 7 years. You'd be like, oh, this is nonsense. But if they said like it's 2 years from now, you could maybe chew on that a wee bit. But you can't have a long period of time because it's football without consequences.
But see if there's no promotion relegation for obviously an extended period of time, right? What's the point in the B League?
It won't be a B League. I think it'll just be. This is why I'm almost skeptical why you call it a second division. If anything, just keep it as a super league. Keep it as its own league.
Yeah, like
it's side by side with the A League.
Yeah, there's no point.
It's not above and below. If you can't promote and relegate, it should just be like another option,
another thing,
like a winter league and a summer league.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
The way the season's run.
Oh yeah, that's the way I think about it. Right.
You know, because the thing is, with the franchise system of the A League, I don't think you're going to convince owners to agree to be relegated.
No, definitely not.
Do you know? So at the end of the day, I'm not holding my breath for that. I don't think it's coming anytime soon. So you've got to build a good enough product here that people like it, and hopefully one day you combine your A League and your this league in the same TV deal, and maybe then you can relegate.
Do you think that the B League could potentially, or B League if we call it that still,
be bigger,
take the place of the A League?
I don't know if they're playing it in summer, winter. You know, as I said, if they keep it winter like the NPL, why can't people watch both? You know, but would it take the place?
But that's because there's quite a big overlap though. Like until I understand it splits because it's maybe 8 to 10 weeks of an overlapping season.
I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's going to take the place of the A League, but it depends. You know, the A League there are some clubs that are big clubs now. They've got big support. You're talking, as you said, big stadiums. A Melbourne Victory, for example. I don't think a South Melbourne's going to get to the level of Melbourne Victory. I don't think so. Yeah. But if you keep it smaller, you keep it its own independent product as a whole league, it might be better. It might be better. Will the clubs be bigger? I don't know.
I think they've got the potential because of that pull to ethnicities. Like,
what is so the question would then become, what is classed as a big club? Is a big club going to be a club
with the most memberships?
As I'm saying, like if I'm going to watch South Melbourne and it's stadium's full every week, there's atmosphere, it's bouncing, blah, blah, blah. Is that better than going to a Melbourne Victory, which is bigger financially, bigger as a brand, but the stadium is huge with hardly anyone in it, and it's not as fun? What would you rather go to as a fan? That might start attracting people to go, do you know what's a better day out? I'll still watch Melbourne Victory on the TV, but this South Melbourne, I go with the boys or I go with my family. We sit there, because that's a Greek club, isn't it, South Melbourne?
Yeah.
So I mean, big Greek family, they might all go there, watch a game. I think that culture aspect because that obviously got lost from the 90s. Obviously, that was, like you said, trying to get away from the madness part of it. But I think if that gets captured in some way, I think it's got potential. Not bigger. Like I do agree. I don't think it's going to get bigger. I think the A-League teams are too well established now. But I think it can get bigger in terms of like hype, reputation, like that sort of thing. I think that could again complete like hearsay. We don't know what's going to happen. But
we don't know.
I'd rather be positive about it than negative. It's going to happen.
And obviously, I work in content, so I hope from the content point of view they get it right because it's got so many cool stories. Like you said, the NPL players, even the NPL has cool stories, and the A-League really is not. It's not the coolest product at the moment.
No,
I don't think the next generation is loving the A-League. I don't think they want to be A-League stars. They want to, I don't think that has it, right? Some of the other codes in Australia has that. I don't think A-League football has that right now. So maybe this second division, they see the players, they get to know a bit more about them and the clubs. It's fun. It's good to go to. You can let loose a little bit at the stadium. You can be yourself, go with your mates, have a couple of drinks, have a good time, meet the players after.
Yeah.
It might get this new generation involved in it. And then, again, it might not be bigger, but it might be more enjoyable live experience.
Yeah, I think
we might choose to go to that and not to an A-League match.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. Look, it's a win. I think it's a win for Australia. More football is always a win.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be seen as a competition.
No, I think you see a lot of negative around the aspect of I'm like, well, not happened yet. Let's just see what happens. And then
But football, the biggest problem with football in this country, right, and the other codes don't have this issue, is that football people in Australia hate each other.
Yeah, that's true.
A-League people hate Euro snobs who hate NSL heads that still want it to be like it used to be, who hate, they absolutely despise each other. And generations hate each other. And it's like, you don't see that in other sports. Owning a media business, I've seen that. You launch a show in rugby league, everyone loves it. Everyone supports it equally. You launch a show in football, you get a small pocket of people that love it. These people are football fans as well, but they might not be A-League fans, so they fucking hate it.
Yeah,
and it's like crazy to see. It's like it kills itself.
Yeah.
So like you're getting a new league, you're getting more teams, more games, hopefully on television. Everyone should be happy. It shouldn't be like this is taken away from Sydney FC. This is taken away from the A-League. Like you should hate it. You should bash it. No, it's more football. If everyone gets on board with it, you can't lose. Yep. You can't lose. You don't even have to buy a jersey. You don't have to support Marconi and go to the stadium every day. But if you're a Sydney FC fan, you should be happy that there's more live football every week.
Yeah.
This is the biggest problem.
Yeah, fair.
So I hope it works.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, so a few questions, mate. One question, actually, it's not part of the main. So what we do, mate, is we have a bit of a play on the fact that Chaz and I, obviously, are not Australian. NPL football is not exactly our mastermind topic.
Oh, yeah.
So we ask our NPL players how much they know about NPL.
Okay.
Questions.
Shit.
But before we do that, just one quick question we'd like to know is, who is the best player you've played with and against?
I played with a Japanese player. Well, in NPL, yeah. Yeah, in NPL.
Yeah.
I played with a Japanese player.
Oh, that trialist? The visa player?
No, not this guy. Tomohiro Kajiyama, right?
Okay.
Kaji, we used to call him at Sutherland. So we played him in preseason. He went to Blacktown Spartans.
Yep.
We played him in a friendly. We drew 3-3. He scored all three for Blacktown.
Yep.
But we offered him more money that night and signed him that night. Right? Just took him off him.
Sorry. Spartans will be good this year.
Yeah, I've heard they'll be decent. Yeah, I've heard they'll be decent.
Okay, will be good.
Yeah. Kaji was great. So from our Sutherland team, I think we're around mid-table, even lower. He won the Golden Boot of the league. He was a 10 as well. Wasn't even a striker. Won Golden Boot of NPL 1 from a team coming like 9th, 10th and smashed it. 2 years, hammered it. Couldn't get into the A-League for whatever reason and retired at 23 and went back to Japan and worked in a restaurant. He was so good, man. Like when I say he was so good, he terrorized teams in NPL 1. And like we all thought, okay, an A-League contract should happen, or at least, and he was on good money too.
Yeah.
But just the thing, he came here, he said, if I don't go pro, he got dropped from J1. He was in J2, got dropped from J League 1. He's like, if I don't get a pro contract, I'm going to go, join the family business, whatever, this and that. And he struggled a bit being away from home, being away from his missus as well. He struggled. And yeah, at 23, he packed it all up. I caught up with another Japanese guy I played with recently. He was just here like 2 weeks ago. Caught up with him and asked him about him. How's Kaji? He goes, he retired after that. Didn't play ever again.
Wow.
What a waste.
Oh, man.
Phenomenal player. So he was the best one I played with.
What about against?
Against? A couple good players that are now probably doing good things. Actually, recently, when I was at St. George for a year, between all the problems, I played a game against Western Sydney Wanderers youth, and Sammy Silvera was playing.
Okay.
And I thought he was very good. I thought he was a very good player. And he got dropped from Wanderers and then ended up at Mariners and obviously won the A-League, and now he's at Middlesbrough and playing for Socceroos.
Yeah.
You could tell he was class. Got dropped from Wanderers. I don't know how. But
How old was he when you played against him?
I would have been a teenager probably still, 19,
okay, yeah.
20, 19.
Okay,
It's just before he went to
He
Mariners.
was a standout, aye.
He was very good for that
Yeah.
Wanderers team. He looked class, looked like he just energetic winger, kept going, very good. Played against a few of those guys, Daniel Arzani and Tilio and these guys when they were in their youth level, you could tell. But I thought Silvera was really good.
Elio's just went back to Melbourne.
Yeah, hasn't worked for him. Again, when you play against the A-League youth, you see these players and you kind of forget who they are. And then you see them on the A-League, like, oh, I remember that one. Like Nisbet now, he's playing with Mariners.
Yeah.
He was always the little guy playing for Mariners youth, and we always thought he's a decent player. It's good to see that now they're going on to the A-League. Yeah, so I played against, I don't know. A couple of these boys now that are in the Socceroos. Cammy Devlin's good, played a lot with and against him
He's at
growing
Hearts,
up. He's at Hearts.
He's a good player. Dirty player.
He's another one. There was actually a really good player I played against, centre back as well growing up, Shane DeCunha. Was a very good player, and he got all the way to Wanderers first grade, and then he retired and became a priest.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh. I think he started a Japanese restaurant.
No, you should get him on your pod because he went all the way to first grade, was playing in the A-League, and then got a calling from God and
don't know if the signals would be very good in the church, though. Quite echoey, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have been echoey. Exactly. But it's an amazing story.
What's his name?
Shane DeCunha.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
really cool story. So yeah, lots of good players you come across, and lots of cool stories, man.
Oh, brilliant.
Just cool people.
Right, mate.
Questions.
This is a bit. Richie had an absolute shocker on last week,
Okay.
so we'll see how you go.
Like trivia.
Yeah, mate.
I mean,
MPL
it's
trivia.
MPL trivia.
Well,
Simple,
yeah.
nothing too complicated, mate, to be honest.
I
Last
would
season.
actually say, to cut you a wee bit of slack, this is a wee bit hard on Richie's.
Okay.
Richie's was very easy, and
Yeah,
he had
it
a
was.
shocker,
And he
and
had
he
a
got
shocker.
one right.
All right, let's go.
Okay, right. This is probably the hardest question, actually.
Mm.
How many goals did UNSW score and concede last year? I'll give you to the closest 10, as in,
Okay.
obviously, as opposed to the exact number.
We probably scored about 63 goals.
Oh! Well, I'll give you the answer at the end, but
Okay,
very
close. That's close.
Very close.
I'd say we scored 63, conceded. Fucking should have. 48.
Oh.
Okay, will we give an answer now?
We should.
62 goals.
Oh yeah.
Very
That was close, man.
32 conceded.
32 conceded.
Oh, it's pretty good. That's not too bad.
Better than 48.
48 would have been bad actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, 48
You
would
would
have
have won
been
the
bad.
league if you
In what,
conceded
30
40.
games? That's not too bad.
Goal a game for
Goal
that.
a
That's
game.
not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, who finished third in MPL 2 last year?
Bonnerig.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well done. Right. With question 3.
This is a tough one.
Who conceded the least goals in all 3 MPL competitions last year?
So who won MPL 1? Apia won MPL 1. Hills United?
For MPL 2?
Yeah. No.
Nah.
No, I'm just laughing because you said Apia won. So did you?
Oh, Apia conceded the least.
No.
I thought Apia, but they probably would have conceded goals up there. So then I thought who won MPL 2? Hills won it, right?
All right, so you went between leagues. I thought you were assuming that Hills were in MPL 1, and I was going to say
well,
that's
they won
terrible
MPL 2
knowledge.
comfortably, didn't they? So I assume maybe them. No, it wasn't.
Nah.
Who-
So I
who
mean,
conceded the
that's the it's not Apia, and it's not. I mean, that's the only clue you're getting.
Yeah.
We'll give you another crack at each of them. Just name your three, and then we'll just get your answer.
Okay. If it's in who had a good backline? If it's in MPL 1, is it in MPL 1?
There's one from each.
No, one from
Oh,
each.
you want to know in each?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, in our league, it was probably, I think, Nepean probably had the best defense in our league.
And what about MPL 2?
In MPL 2, St. George might have defended their way to promotion. I'm going to go with Nepean, St. George, and who's in MPL 1? Who's up the top? And Rockdale.
1 out of 3.
Nepean was the best
Nepean
defense in our
was,
league.
yeah.
I remember that. I don't know the other two. Who was it?
Canterbury Bankstown.
Berries.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay.
MPL 2 and Blacktown City
Really?
in MPL 1.
Okay. There you go. Shows how much I. Nah, but goal difference. You know, how often do you look? How often do you look at the fucking goal
That's a
difference?
tough
That's
one.
a hard
Tough one.
question.
Yeah.
As a defender, though, something
I knew for us, we didn't like that we didn't have the best defense in the league last year. So that's how I knew Nepean, because I remember
Yeah.
they had a couple goals less than us. Yeah.
Where do Mount Druitt play their home games?
Poppendetta Park.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Decent, mate.
Yeah.
Decent.
Yeah.
Right, last question.
Player of the year in all 3 competitions. MPL 1, MPL 2, MPL 3.
I think I know this
Okay,
Okay.
let's go.
because I was at the dinner and I was
actually,
a few.
how many have you had to drink?
I was a few champagnes deep, but I know that in MPL 1 it was Alec Urasevsky, no?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he scored a bucket load of goals. In MPL 2, it was a mate of mine I went to school with. It was Connor Quilligan.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, good player. And in MPL 3, probably should have been one of our lads, But I think we had too many good players. So it went to a team that didn't have too many. And it went to Mitch Cross.
Oh, mate.
That's outstanding from you.
Yeah.
Richie Darko has had a shocker. We asked Richie Darko who
got promoted and relegated.
I had no idea.
No idea.
He was naming teams for the leagues, different leagues.
That's the thing. When you're up in NPL 1, you don't give a fuck about the lower levels.
That's what we said to him, mate.
Snobbery, man. Don't have a clue, mate. Don't have a clue.
That's quality.
And probably the last thing, mate, is just obviously for us to get this wee podcast going, we just want people, any good guests you recommend. You've obviously recommended that Shane lad. Anyone else think would be good guests?
Yeah, absolutely. Who's up in NPL? I mean, it'd be good to hear from some of these players. You know, Alek Jurasevsky.
He's looking if he's coming anyway.
Yeah.
Him and Bay, yeah.
Top player in NPL 1.
Yeah.
A lot
Anyone good characters?
a lot of people
Anyone good
always
banter?
say he, turned down A-League gigs on many occasions to stay in the NPL.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to hear if that's
Yeah.
that's
Well,
true.
I think he's done a podcast recently
Okay.
about that.
Yeah.
Or last year with one of the other NPL podcasts. So I don't know
Yeah.
if that answers that already.
You know, there's another one. In NPL 3, we played a team, Gladesville,
Yeah, right.
and their goalkeeper.
Oh, the old one.
And he's old as. He's like in his 50s.
Yeah.
But man, he's seen some
What-
When you
shit.
go somewhere where you can smoke inside, mate.
He's seen some shit. Like he's played in like Greek
Yeah,
Cup finals
yeah, he
for
played-
Olympiacos
played
in the
Champions
90s.
League.
Champions League, yeah.
For EK.
Yeah, he'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's
Aye.
true.
Do
Actually.
you know anyone
I
who's a
actually have
good
his
banter,
number in
good
my
laugh,
phone.
good characters, good stories?
Oh, there's heaps of them, yeah. Who's a fucking journeyman we played against Apia? Nick Sullivan.
Yeah, okay.
He's a party boy.
Yeah, okay.
He's at Apia now. He's played for every club in the NPL. I think he was at Bonnyrigg last year. He's obviously was in the A-League for a couple of years recently,
Yeah.
so he'd be a good one. Mate, I think you can't really go wrong. There's so much banter in the NPL. Everyone's got that semi-pro mentality. No one's got a chip on their shoulder. Do you know what I mean?
It's
It's
not
not
a few
like,
boring lads.
There's
as
some
well,
people are
but no.
there's
boring.
boring lads in the NPL.
Oh yeah, some are boring.
You reckon?
Man. Yeah.
Who's the most boring in our team?
You can't say Claude. Tell me right. It was Claude's.
I think we got a pretty good bunch.
Yeah.
Look, you hope that people don't take themselves too seriously at this level. That's the good thing.
That's why we try to get this.
You know, and
That's
also
why I have a laugh.
there's no real media managers. I don't know. You deal with like professional athletes a lot of the time. The media manager has to come and sit in the corner.
Don't
and
say that.
big
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, yeah.
And then as soon as you get them away from camera, they're awesome. But at least
Yeah.
the NPL lads, I don't think.
Who's the best interview
I
you've
just
had?
think that some people don't talk.
Well, at like higher level.
As in, like the best interview you've done as a media pundit.
You know what? The players at the end of their career are always better because
don't care as
they
much.
don't give a fuck.
Uh-huh.
I spoke to Cesc Fabregas. He was having a laugh the whole time, going along with everything, making a five-a-side, dropping teammates, picking teammates because he's Cesc Fabregas. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing he can do wrong at that point. Same with Aussie players, Tim Cahill, Harry Kewell, Mark Schwarzer, some of the best interviews I've done. Where sometimes I get a young lad who you think's awesome because he's like 21, he's playing professionally, he's like, surely this guy's going to give me a lot of banter.
Yeah.
Very reserved because
Yeah.
coach is watching,
But that's what I think I was saying with NPL players. I
Aye,
think that
boring
some people
lads.
just don't talk.
No.
Aye,
But
You
young
know what I mean?
lads,
Yeah, yeah.
Aye, like great people, nice people, but in
Yeah.
terms of coming on a podcast,
Nah.
they might just be like,
Yeah, they just don't say
cool.
it.
yeah. So they get the old heads. They got all the
And
stories.
the dafties.
Yeah.
What about in terms of interviews? See how some people, have you had any shocker interviews? Like you've went and done it with someone and you're like, oh, that went so bad. Not from like you necessarily being a bad interview, but as in like they weren't quite what you expected, or they turned up in a bad.
Fuck, I don't like saying who. I did a lot of Zoom call interviews for being sports
Zoom
with
calls?
players playing overseas.
Yeah, all right, okay.
Especially Aussies playing overseas. Sometimes, it's a Zoom call. You can't build that rapport with them. So some of them were a little bit dry and a
Yeah.
little bit, and like often it was like nighttime here, early morning there.
Yeah.
So there were a few that I'd wrap up the interview, I'd close the laptop, and be like, oh shit. But I'm not gonna name names. But no, most of them pretty good. Most of them have actually been really good. I feel like when I get to sit down with someone and interview them in person, no matter who it is, I think I'm going to get a good side out of them. Because you have a chat with them before, they realize I'm not a journalist. I'm not here to spin a bullshit story about you. I'm just here to have fun,
Yeah,
and
of
they'll
course.
relax, and So even Australia's manager Graham Arnold,
Yeah.
like he said to me after the interview, he's like, "This is the best interview I've ever done," because it was just relaxed. It was up in the North Shore where he lives.
He's
Fucking just chill, man. And he expected me to grill him about his squad selection and shit. We were just having a laugh about all this other crap,
Yeah.
and he loved it. People like that. They feel comfortable.
Yeah, 100%.
So I haven't had any bad ones.
what have you got coming up? Anything exciting?
Yeah. Exciting year. Exciting for us. We've launched our studios as well. So hopefully have you guys in here a bit more. Anyone that's doing podcasts and that can hit me up for that. We want more football content getting out there. So anyone that's got a football idea, we'd love to help it. For me, it's a big year with Euro 24 and Copa America on at the same time.
Wow.
And I'll be involved in it.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. But it'll be worth it.
Difference.
Yeah, for us, it's fucked. Like,
Yeah.
literally change your whole sleep schedule
Oh, it's hard.
and just live opposite to everyone else. But it's worth it.
I'm fully
That's
expecting
cool,
you
mate.
to turn
Brilliant, man.
up and play. well on a
Well, I
Saturday,
looked
mate.
at our schedule and like, yeah, there's gonna be some tough games, man. You're gonna have to chat a lot to me, mate. There's a few games.
Clods, wake up, Clods, wake up.
But yeah, no, it's an exciting year. Exciting year. I love the international tournament.
You know,
years.
I'm going to bring a Celtic top and put a Celtic top on.
Bring it. These are some of my old tops, actually.
What have you got? Marconi, Sutherland,
Got an old
NSW?
Marconi one. I grabbed my old. You know, when I was at Marconi, they were cleaning out the old stables there, so they said, you know, everyone can just go in there and just grab whatever kits you want, whatever you find. Some of the boys picked up some found like an old Harry Kill kit from when he was there.
Oh, wow.
One of our goalkeeper found an old Mark Schwarzer kit from Marconi,
That's
took it
outstanding.
home. Yeah.
Yeah,
This was just my number, but I think an older kit. Sutho.
yeah, Sutherland Shark.
It'd be good to get if we do episodes here to get all different strips from different people.
Absolutely. Get them and bring their strips in.
Pack them up.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Last mate, well that's it, mate. Thanks very much for your time, mate.
Thanks for coming in. That wasn't. You didn't grill me as much as I thought.
Nah. We got caught off on a tangent a few times. I forgot halfway through. I forgot we even had stories.
Yeah,
so did I.
see, I'm good.
Uh,
Cheers, guys. Thanks for coming.
Cheers,
Thanks.
mate. Cheers. Perfect.